Hello, everyone. I hope that you're doing amazing wherever you are in the world. Wow, perfect timing. I started talking and the lawnmower was switched off. That's divine intervention. Anyways, I hope that you guys are doing amazing wherever you are. My name is Shikha, and I welcome you to my channel. You can see the sunflowers in the back. My mom loves sunflowers, and so obviously wherever we go, we always plant sunflowers, and they're doing pretty well, happily enough. And it's a cloudy day here, so I thought it'd be nice to do some videos outside. And in this one, I wanted to speak to you about how I'm kind of annoyed, I should say, or I kind of lose respect for people sometimes, I should say, actually. More like I lose respect for people when they'll say something extremely derogatory. And obviously, as you guys know, I've said this to you before, I block people whenever they start being derogatory, racist, homophobic, or anything like that from the channel or from my life, because there's just no need for that negativity. Also, a lot of that is just coming from their own issues, and it's not my responsibility to heal that person or to show them the right way. They'll figure it out on their own. And so, in general, when I do get derogatory comments on the channel, as I said, I'll just block the person. Unless they're trying to explain something to me using intelligent conversation, then of course I'll keep it on and I'll try to interact with it and try to understand it from their perspective. Even if I don't agree with it, I can still try to read it and understand it, right? But a lot of times what people will do, and this really grinds my gear, or really irks me, as I said, when people will say something extremely derogatory, extremely out there, extremely insulting sometimes to me, like, oh my god, you're so fat, haha, or things like that, and then they'll say lol after, or lmfo, like laughing my ass off kind of thing. I shouldn't have said that word. Anyways, they'll say things like that after, they'll say something really, really terrible, and then they'll just kind of say lol after, or say lmfo, fao, or something like that. And I'm just sitting there thinking, so did you actually mean it or did you not mean it? The point obviously there is that person, the reason I lose respect for that person is that person doesn't really actually have the capacity or the strength to say these words outright to someone else. Obviously, if we were in a setting where I was face to face with this person, they would never say something like that because they're too weak. But in an online setting, it's all right for them to say it. But even then, they're so weak and mentally not able to really go behind their statement that they have to kind of temper it down by saying lol or saying something else after, or giving a little giggle sign, or like laughing after. And because they're trying to make sure that they still conserve their capacity to be like, all right, yeah, I said it, but if I lol after, then it's not that serious, and I'm just joking, And if the person takes it in a negative way, if they feel insulted, then I can just be like, well, I was just joking. And if they take it seriously, then good, because that's what I really wanted to do. And as you guys can tell, I get angry about this because this happens a lot, not only, as I said, online, where obviously I'm like, if you're going to say something negative, have the balls, have the strength to say it right out. YouTube's going to look at this video and be like, delete. Anyway, censor. But like literally have the strength or the capacity or the will to be like, yeah, guys, I'm going to say something terrible to you and I'm going to say it without tempering it down by saying lol or something else after. But in general, this happens a lot when I am actually walking through the world as well, where, and this happens a lot when I'm talking to men who have, I don't know if I should say a weak ego, but who are sometimes weaker than they want to be, or they're portraying themselves as the strong person, but actually very weak on the inside. And they're walking through the world as if they own the world, but they don't actually feel that way on the inside. They have imposter syndrome, or they have issues with self-esteem, whatever it might be. And that person will say something to me, and a lot of times it's obviously very sexist jokes. A lot of time it has to do with the fact that I'm still single, or I don't have a child, or I'm not reproducing, which is really the only purpose I have on this planet, of course, right, as a female or as a woman. And I noticed that as soon as I call the person out on their statements, instantaneously there's this backtracking. Instantaneously that person's like, oh, really? What? Why are you being so serious? I didn't actually mean it. I was just joking. And I always kind of afterwards I'm like, were you really joking, or are you backtracking? Now, a lot of times I won't say it if I'm in a setting where I'm like, all right, everyone's getting uncomfortable. But like now what I'm trying to do, why I'm doing this video now, is because I really want us to start thinking about this in a more long-term format, right? Like in this moment in time, perhaps you're afraid of embarrassing this person, or perhaps you're afraid of ruining the group that you're in, or creating tension in the group, or maybe you're afraid of the fact that you're going to be ostracized from the group. That's a short-term thinking. You're looking at the scenario and thinking, yeah, short-term this might happen. Short-term I might lose this friendship or this group, or I might cause tensions in the group, and everyone was so happy before, and I'm ruining it all, etc. Maybe I should just take the joke. Maybe I should just relax a little bit and all that stuff. But that's short-term thinking. And what I want all of us to start doing, not only am I talking to women but also men, is think long-term. Right? Because what if some child is watching this interaction taking place? What if some girl is watching this interaction take place, or a boy, and they're looking at it and they are learning from it? And what is going to happen in the future is this kind of behavior will be repeated, because if I don't say anything back and the person is let go and he's able to make derogatory jokes and we don't say anything about it, then would the lesson we transmit to the younger generation by them watching us the way we do things is that it's okay for men to make fun of women for who they are or what they are, and it's not okay for women to speak back to the person, because that's not allowed, right? Now you're probably thinking, well, what if no one's watching? What if no little person's watching? Well, it's how you do one thing is how you're going to do everything, really. And so you have to kind of form the habit of being like pushing back. I'm going to push back at it, because if you don't do it once, you're probably going to get into a habit, and I know I've gotten into this habit in the past, where you get into a habit of just letting it go every single time. Like, really, I don't really want to deal with this. Do I really have to? Do I have to really speak back to this person? What's the message I want to send here? And a lot of times what women will do is that we'll be like, well, this is so exhausting. And it is exhausting being in a patriarchy, obviously, or it's exhausting dealing with this nonsense. But of course, a lot of times we'll do it, and eventually we will end up in a situation where there are little ones watching, and they are watching the way we deal with it. And if we're just like, I'm too tired to deal with this, right? Then they're going to get that message. And if you keep on doing it over and over and over again, eventually it's going to be transmitted over to the next generation, and the next generation is going to keep on repeating this pattern unless we break it. And it has to be broken at this level, at your level, wherever you are, wherever you're standing, whoever you are, and whatever your position might be. That is where it has to start. It doesn't start in the future. And I notice this a lot in the conversations I have with them, and they're like, well, my children will take care of it, and the next generation will be better. My girls will be better. They won't repeat this. How will they not repeat it if they're taught by you to repeat it, right? How will they learn better or learn differently if you're not actually doing anything different? How are they going to learn? Are they going to learn from the teachers? What if they are doing exactly the same thing as you because they're too tired to fight against the patriarchy, yeah? And what if all the people around them are in exactly the same boat? Where are they going to learn these lessons from? They usually, most probably, will learn from you if you are the mother or the sister or like the elderly female in the population or in their surroundings. They're going to learn it from you. It's going to come from you. Give me a second. Sometimes these planes pass by and they're really loud, and so I like to pause for that bit. And so again, as I said, they're going to learn from you, and the message has to come from you. It has to start here right now with us, whoever you are. You might not have any I don't have any children, but I know that I have a duty or responsibility or whatever you want to call it, to make sure that if something derogatory is said to me or to the women in general, it is my responsibility to stand up, even if I'm exhausted, even if I'm tired of it, which I am. And sometimes I'm surrounded by a lot of masochistic, a lot of men who are just in that zone where women are inferior to them and they're the best and they strut around like a peacock. And it's at points I'm like, I just want to run away from this world. But in fact, what I try to do mostly, as much as possible, is to speak back, to say, okay, this is wrong. You're wrong, obviously, and you're being an idiot. And so I'm going to say something about it. even if it means that they that my parents get annoyed by me. Well, they don't anymore. They know I'm going to do it. Or even if the party mood is ruined, what does it mean? That the person should be allowed to say whatever they want without any repercussions to them? That's not how it works, right? And so that's what I wanted to say in this video, is that as a male as well, as a man as well, you have a responsibility. If you see something like that happening to a friend of yours, a female friend, a woman friend, anyone around you, whatever it might be, sexist, racist, homophobic, it is again your responsibility as well. And of course, as I say, use your privilege as a man. You have the privilege, you're a man, a lot of times you're not dealing with this stuff, so use it and speak up for your women friends, for the people around you. Speak up and make sure that it doesn't keep on perpetuating itself for the future forever and ever and ever. Okay? I hope this makes sense. I hope that I was able to explain myself to you. I know it's difficult, and I know sometimes it's like, oh, I just want to give up. I have been in the same situation as you, but I think it's time for us to start thinking about it in a different format and start thinking about it. Okay, what do we want the future generations to do? How do we want them to live? What lessons do we want to transmit to them? And we're doing it on a daily basis if we're aware of it or not. And so we really need to pay attention. Okay? If you guys have any questions about this, obviously message me by commenting below. But if not, I hope you enjoyed it, and I shall see you the next time around. Bye for now.